variant of concern. Ini adalah juga selari dengan keputusan-keputusan terkini daripada negara-negara lain yang melihat kepada isu variant of concern di mana satu dos sahaja tidak memberi liputan ataupun perlindungan yang efektif kepada penerima vaksin terhadap varian B16172. Saya juga ingin membangkitkan berkenaan dengan isu yang tular di Pusat Pemberian Vaksin Kompleks Sukan Desa Tasik pada 24 Mei. Kononnya mengikut apa yang tular, penerima vaksin Muslim hanya diberikan Pfizer. Penerima vaksin Sinovac hanya diberikan kepada non-Muslim. Ini adalah satu berita yang tidak benar sama sekali dan merupakan tuduhan yang sangat-sangat tidak bertanggungjawab. Pada 24 Mei, seramai 943 individu telah diberi suntikan vaksin, iaitu 252 dos vaksin Pfizer dan 691 vaksin Sinovac di PPV Kompleks Sukan Desa Tasik. Daripada jumlah ini, 169 orang Islam dan 83 orang bukan Islam merupakan penerima vaksin Pfizer. Manakala 142 orang Islam dan 549 orang bukan Islam merupakan penerima vaksin Sinovac. Tiada sebarang pengasingan telah dibuat mengikut agama ataupun bangsa. Sebaliknya, penerima vaksin hanya diasingkan berdasarkan jenis vaksin mengikut ruang suntikan bagi memastikan tiada kesilapan dalam pemberian jenis vaksin. Walau bagaimanapun, isu telah timbul sebab daripada jumlah tersebut, seramai 42 individu yang terdiri daripada bakal jemaah haji dan petugas haji telah dijadualkan untuk menerima vaksin di PPV tersebut. Selaras dengan keputusan Kerajaan Arab Saudi yang setakat ini yang kita tahu hanya mengiktiraf vaksin Pfizer dan Astrazeneca, maka 42 orang itu diberikan vaksin Pfizer pada tarikh tersebut. Jadi ini adalah sekaligus untuk menafikan mesej yang tular yang menyatakan bahawa berlaku pengasingan berdasarkan kepada agama ataupun kaum dalam program imunisasi COVID-19 Kebangsaan. Satu tuduhan yang tidak bertanggungjawab, satu tuduhan yang tidak betul dan satu tuduhan yang perlu kita nafikan sekeras-kerasnya. Terdapat juga status tentang penerima vaksin Sinovac atau vaksin yang lain sama ada dapat diterima oleh Kerajaan Arab Saudi. Kerajaan sedang giat mengadakan perbincangan dengan negara-negara lain dan badan antarabangsa seperti WHO bagi mengiktiraf setiap jenis vaksin berbeza yang sedang digunakan di Malaysia buat masa ini. Itu antara perkara-perkara yang nak dibangkitkan pada hari ini dalam sidang media yang saya panggil khusus berkenaan dengan beberapa isu berbangkit selama 2-3 hari yang lepas ini. Sekali lagi bagi pihak CITF dan Kerajaan Malaysia, saya mohon maaf kepada mereka yang berhadapan dengan kesulitan semalam dengan sistem tempahan kita. Saya terima segala kritikan ya dan juga segala cemuhan, dan saya faham rakyat inginkan vaksinasi mereka secepat mungkin sebab kita melihat kes kita sedang meningkat. Vaksinasi memberi satu pelindungan yang baik kepada rakyat kita, dan seperti mana yang saya umumkan tadi, kita telah mengadakan rundingan demi rundingan dalam tempoh masa seminggu yang lepas ini untuk memastikan bahawa penghantaran bekalan vaksin kita dapat dipercepatkan dengan jumlah yang lebih banyak lagi. Ya, jadi mereka yang tidak dapat AstraZeneca, saya mohon maaf tapi jangan risau. Kita sedang berusaha untuk mempercepatkan penghantaran vaksin supaya kita dapat melindungi seramai mungkin penduduk di Malaysia. Terima kasih. Saya buka kepada soalan kepada media. Okay, I go with Cheryl from BFM first. You are muted, Cheryl.
Am I all right now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. So as you've mentioned, yesterday when registrations for the AZ vaccine opened up, nearly 1 million appointments were taken in just under an hour. But, considering how many difficulties people were facing, with making these appointments because of the website and etc., many have kind of doubted that it was, even possible for 1 million appointments to be made within just that span of time. I just wanted to get your response to that.
Well, thank you for the question. As I've said earlier, I can confirm that 956,609 appointments were indeed made yesterday during the chaotic 1 hour period. There were a lot of people today who reported that even though they couldn't get through to the last thank you page, that they've received their appointments already today. So I think the proof is in the My Sejahtera appointments, which are being put out as we speak. It started pushing out appointments last night, and will continue to push out appointments throughout the day today. So I think the proof of whether or not the appointments went through, I think we'll see that over the next 24 hours when more and more people start getting their appointments. So although the process was not satisfactory at all and was riddled with a lot of shortcomings, but as far as the outcome of getting 956,609 appointments was met. Haris?
Okay, I just want to clarify. You said that you're positive that 150,000 jabs can be given a day starting next month. So why do you want to still go through with the 6 weeks interval for Pfizer? Don't you have enough vaccine by then?
Yes, we do. That's why we will only review it on a where we see while waiting for the Pfizer surge to arrive. The Pfizer surge starts in July. So in July, we start getting a huge delivery of Pfizer. But maybe in the meantime, during June, if we can space it out and we can give more people the first dose. So it's only, in my mind right now, it's only for June, even if we decide to do it. We're still monitoring on the prevalence of the variant. If the variant is very prevalent, because we're starting to see that there are more and more cases involving the B16172, then we may not decide to extend the Pfizer dosing interval. We just made a decision today that we can extend the dosing interval, but my position at JKJB just now is that we look at the prevalence of the variant first, because of the relative ineffectiveness of one dose against the B16172. Sulin.
Hi, YB. So I just have a couple of questions. The first one is, some people have complained about getting AstraZeneca vaccine appointments, even though they didn't register for it. And in fact, they had already confirmed an earlier phase 2 appointment under the general pick. So that's my first question. The second one is, could you elaborate more on your plans to allow people to choose their vaccines on My Sejahtera? So is it also going to be on a first come, first serve bookings in selected PPVs, like you'll have Pfizer PPVs, Sinovac PPVs, AstraZeneca PPVs, because there are limited supplies of each vaccine, right? And when can they start choosing their vaccines on My Sejahtera? And then my third... Sorry, go ahead with that.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
So my third question is, again, with the consideration on whether to extend or not extend the dosage interval for Pfizer based on prevalence of variants like the Indian variant here, my concern is that Malaysia has very limited genomic sequencing on variants here compared to other countries like Singapore and the UK. So how sure can we be that whatever data that we have from IMR, which seems to be the only organization doing genomic sequencing, isn't actually representative of the actual situation in Malaysia.
Thank you, Sulin. On the first question, we are still investigating these cases where they didn't register, but they received an AstraZeneca appointment. Now, this should not have taken place. Technically, it cannot take place unless there's only one hypothesis right now that we are working on, unless people were registered without their consent. We have been told that there were several organizations which were doing mass bookings for people. We are not sure if the people that they were doing mass bookings for had given their consent or not. So that's what we are looking at. That's the only possible explanation for this right now, where there have been certain groups who say that they are going to register hundreds of people to help ostensibly these people to be registered. But the only issue right now is whether those people gave their consent. If they didn't give their consent, then that's why they're surprised today that they got their appointments. Anyway, we're investigating this and we will get back to you. Yeah. On the choice of vaccines, we are still working out the method to which we will do this. It will be done through MySejahtera. I think we've learned a lot of lessons on the website, and I think that it's cleaner to do everything on MySejahtera, and it encourages people to use the app, because I think it's better for us to encourage people to use the app. We will be looking at how you choose your appointments, place, date, as well as vaccine. I think, if anything, we want to make the process as easy as possible for people. So we're working on a few options right now. I will probably announce that over the next couple of weeks on how people can choose the vaccine, the place, and also the time or the date that they want. On the variants of concerns, it's not true that IMR is the only one doing genomic surveillance. The Malaysian Genomic Institute under MOSTI are also doing genomic surveillance. Universities are also doing genomic surveillance. We admit that the numbers of genomic sequencing that has been done is relatively low in Malaysia. So we plan to increase that over the next few weeks to ensure that at least we are on par with other peers in Southeast Asia. But what that means is that even with the relatively low number of genomic sequencing that we are doing, by identifying that there is already B16172 in Malaysia, it could mean that there are more cases of B16172. That's usually the case, because genomic surveillance is a sample. So because of that, because of the presence of B16172 already in Malaysia, that's why we are a bit careful about the dosing interval moving to 6 weeks. Some quarters have pushed us to do so, but maybe they are not aware of the relative ineffectiveness of the vaccine towards B16172. So that's what I wanted to explain today. It's easy to suggest it because it sounds logical, and it's something that the UK did before. But even other countries now are shortening their intervals. UK is shortening AZ from 12 to 10 weeks because of the issue of the variants. Yeah.
Hello, YB. This is Nina from Bernama. I just wanted to clarify.
Nina, can you speak a bit louder, please? I can't hear you.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify, when you said that the first dose of Pfizer is like 30% efficacy of 30%, do you mean like preventing illness or preventing severe illness?
Yeah. So the data that we have, and that was presented by Dr. Kalai just now, is based on the efficacy in preventing clinical COVID-19. Yeah, clinical COVID-19. So that means in preventing the clinical worst outcomes of COVID-19. So for the B16172, it's 33% after the first dose. It's 88% after the second dose. That's what the study is showing. It's not against preventing symptomatic COVID-19, it's clinical COVID-19, hospitalizations, and the worst outcomes of COVID-19. Okay?
Okay, so severe cases, basically.
Yes, severe cases.
All right.
And for, that's it.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I would just like to know the breakdown of the AZ registration opt-in for Sarawak, above 60 and below 60. And my second question is, vaccination scheduled at some government facilities in Sarawak was postponed due to late delivery of the vaccines. What caused this, and what steps are taken to prevent recurrence? Thank you.
Yeah, so we are aware of the delay in Sarawak. It was a delay at Famaniaga.
Lot release.
Yeah, the delay was because of the lot release inspection. So we will ensure, I was very unhappy about that also. We will ensure that all planned deliveries take into account the time necessary for the lot release inspection by NPRA. On the details for Sarawak, I'll get my, who was that asked the question just now? Irene from where?
Borneo Post.
Irene from Borneo Post. I'll get my office to get it to you. Is that okay?
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Irene. Can we get it to Irene, please? Yeah, somebody remember that? Okay, next.
Hello, hi YB. Ashley here from the Star. YB, just wanted to check with you with the vaccine intervals, right? So will it only be for Pfizer vaccine, and what about the Sinovac and the AstraZeneca? Will there also be intervals for it? And about vaccine wastage, any figures? Considering that in Kedah and Kelantan, I think there were reports that people did not show up for their vaccines.
For Sinovac, the advisory from the expert working group is to maintain the present dosing interval, because there's no data yet on Sinovac whether increasing the dosing interval will affect its efficacy or not. So for Sinovac, we're maintaining it at 3 weeks. For AstraZeneca, we are monitoring the situation. If the prevalence of the variants continues to grow, we might shorten the interval, but for now we are maintaining it at 12 weeks. On the question of wastage, I can't give you an exact figure, but I can tell you that there is hardly any wastage right now. And that's simply because for two reasons. One, if people don't show up, the PPVs have a waiting list or have a reserve list, and they use that reserve list. I checked with Terengganu, with Kelantan, they were able to use the reserve list or the waiting list. And secondly, if the waiting list is also exhausted, but there are still vaccines, they simply don't take the vaccine out of the top loading freezer, which is at the PPV. If they keep the vaccine in the top loading freezer, they can use it, Pfizer, for another 4 days. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Ravi.
Yeah, so there's a question on the screen. Since you didn't hear just now, maybe saya nak umumkan sekali lagi bahawa 12 juta dos Sinovac akan dihantar sepenuhnya pada bulan Jun dan Julai. Within those 2 months, they will finish the 12 million doses. Yeah, not 12 million for June and July. 12 by the end of July, we get all our 12 million doses. Senang kata macam itulah. Jangan kata 12 million in June, July. By the end of July, all our 12 million doses are delivered. Yeah, some of them have been delivered already in May and also in April. I hope that's clear. Okay, Malay Mail.
Good evening, YB.
Hello. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, after yesterday's glitch with the website, and now since we're not allowing any more opt-in, so that means we won't have any more issues with people trying to register online, do we?
No more. We're taking the online option off the table. There's only so many days of heart attacks that I can endure also.
Okay, then just to follow up there, YB, how much money have you spent of that ceiling of 70 million thus far?
I have to get back to you on that. I know for certain we've not spent 70 million. We'll give you an update soon. Yeah?
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Yep.
Hi YB.
Ya.
Saudara Berita Harian.
Okay, saya just nak tanya sikit memang sebelum ni YB ada mention lebih 5,000 atau 6,000 pengamal media akan diberikan vaksin. Tapi mungkin ada tarikh spesifik tak? Sebab sekarang ni nampaknya jumlah pengamal media yang positif semakin ramai. Jadi mungkin ada tarikh atau mungkin boleh dipercepatkan.
Ya, bermula minggu pertama Jun. Saya dah sign senarai dah tadi. Okay.
Okay, hi.
Siapa ni?
Syafiqah from H.
Syafiqah dulu.
Okay, hi Wabi, Syafiqah here. You said earlier that frontliners such as teachers and media will get their vaccine soon. So is there any exact date for that? And for those
first week of June.
Okay, and for those media who has AstraZeneca appointments later, should they just cancel the appointments and join the media line?
My advice is if you have an appointment, keep your appointment, please. Please keep your appointment. Yeah, keep your appointment.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, NST.
Hi, good evening, YB.
Hello.
Okay, with the number of no-shows in states like Kedah and Kelantan, are there plans to allow walk-ins based on registration done online? And my second question is, some who failed to book a slot yesterday received their AZ appointments today, as you mentioned earlier. However, those who successfully registered have not received any updates. Can we confirm those who registered will receive the appointments soon as well?
We are pushing out 900, more than 900. We're pushing out 1.4 million appointments. So it takes a while for the system to push out all the appointments. So it'll continue to push out throughout today. Yeah? What was the first question?
The first question on the no-shows in Kedah and Kelantan.
For no-shows, please don't go and there are no walk-ins. There's a reserve list where the PPVs will call. Yeah? We don't want for there to be a crowd at the PPVs. That's at the moment that's dangerous because of the cases.
Thank you.
Siapa lagi?
People are confused. So they think you're taking off registration.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just got a note. People are confused. You can register for PIC online. There will no more be any AstraZeneca registration online. You can register for PIC online. The online registration for mainstream PIC is still available and open online. Yeah, is that clear? Sorry about that. It's AstraZeneca punya opt-in. We will no longer do online. Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
I just want to ask if there's an update on the investigation into underdosing cases at the PWTC, what happened, and there are some people who are concerned that they are not sure whether they receive enough dosage after they read about the cases. So what are the options that these people have?
Well, for the case that occurred in PWTC, that particular person has already been given the additional dose required for the full dose of AZ. We have also got a new SOP where now the vaccinator needs to show the vaccinee the syringe and to indicate that that is the required dose that is given. And once the vaccinee or the vaccine recipient is happy, then they will proceed with the vaccination. If anybody else has strong proof that they have been underdosed, they can come forward and we can verify to see if that's the case. But I can assure you that this was a very, very remote incident, that took place. Okay, last couple of questions.
Hi, Baby, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby, I'm Michelle from Sinchu. Just now you mentioned that some PPVs have their reserve list and they will call up people from the reserve list if some people do not turn up for their appointments. But how do people register with the PPV to be in the reserve or waiting list?
We give the reserve list from CITF. It's from the MySejahtera list. So we give them a list of people who are supposedly next in the system.
Okay, so there's no registration with the PPV, right?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Ada, last one?
Just one from me, YB. So are the AstraZeneca registrations included in JKJAV's overall vaccine registration graphics? Because yesterday saw only 245,000 and 76 registration.
Registration. Oh yeah, those are new registrations, Sulin. AstraZeneca, they are already registered.
I mean, but because JKJV's daily graphics on vaccine registrations,
there was a huge spike yesterday, which is not AstraZeneca. It was people who just wanted to get registered.
No, I mean on JKJV's daily vaccination graphics. So yesterday, if you calculate it, yesterday saw 245,076 registrations if you minus the cumulative registrations from the day before. So that doesn't seem to add up to the 900 over 1,000 registrations for AstraZeneca alone yesterday. So is the AstraZeneca registrations included in the overall?
No, see, some people who registered for AstraZeneca, some people registered for the first time yesterday because the syarat was you have to be registered if you want to qualify for the AstraZeneca. But most people who registered yesterday were new registrations.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah. All right. Okay, is that all from everyone?
Oh, sorry, saya nak perincikan sikit yang kata pasal media tadi tu. Maksudnya minggu pertama Jun tu akan di-start beri ke atau baru akan dimaklumkan siapa senarai nama ke atau macam mana?
Kita akan start bagi appointment mulai minggu pertama Jun. Ya, appointments will be pushed out in the first week of June.
Okay, baik. Terima kasih.
Okay. Terima kasih kepada semua pengamal media. Thank you very much. See you at the next press conference minggu depan. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Tiada lagi daftar diri secara sukarela atau opt-in untuk vaksin COVID-19 Astrazeneca. Selepas ini, AstraZeneca akan dimasukkan ke dalam program imunisasi COVID-19 Kebangsaan seperti semua vaksin yang lain. Itu disahkan oleh Menteri Penyelaras Program Imunisasi COVID-19 Kebangsaan Khairy Jamaluddin, dan kerajaan juga sedang mempertimbangkan idea untuk membolehkan orang ramai memilih sendiri jenis vaksin yang mereka mahukan melalui aplikasi MySejahtera. Selepas ini tiada sebarang tarikh diberikan dan juga mekanisme bagaimana ia akan dilaksanakan juga akan diumumkan dalam masa terdekat. Selain itu, pengamal media juga akan diberikan vaksin bermula minggu pertama bulan hadapan, bulan Jun 2021. Itu antara intipati sidang media oleh YBKJ. Kita akan bawakan kepada anda laporan terkini dan juga lebih komprehensif di astroawani.com dan juga saluran 501 dalam buletin-buletin kami yang seterusnya. Kita kembali selepas ini dengan Buletin Awani. Kita berhenti rehat seketika.
Khabar baik untuk semua rakyat Bimba.